Alright guys, you already know what time it is. In today's video, we're going to be doing a full in-depth review of the LAMZU Atlantis Mini. So around a week ago, I did an overview of both these mice where I unboxed it and gave my initial impressions. Yesterday, I released my full in-depth review of the LAMZU Atlantis OG. In today's video, we're going to be focusing specifically on the Mini. So I'm happy to say that the Mini is pretty much just a scaled down version of the regular. There has been no build quality issues, no quality control issues on my copy that I've received. So the sides, when I press down on it, there's no flex whatsoever, no creaking. When I shake it, there's no rattle either. And on the Mouse 1 and Mouse 2, there's very little side play and no grinding when I press down on it. So that's very nice to see. Build quality has been super solid. And the clicks as well are pretty much exactly the same as the OG, except for one minor quirk. I feel like the Mini actually is easier to actuate, like in terms of the switches. I feel like the left and right click are easier to click. I'm not sure if that's placebo or if that's just like because it's a smaller version, so it's like easier to press down, but I feel like the clicks on the Mini are a little bit lighter. And the scroll wheel is exactly the same as the OG. So before I talk about shape, I want to talk about the sensor performance. The performance of the Mini has been pretty much identical to the OG. If you watch the OG review, you'll know I've had a couple issues with 4K polling rate on some games causing stuttering, but I managed to fix most of that by disabling C states in BIOS, as well as turning off motion sync and making sure I plug in the receiver to a USB 3.0 on the back of my computer. That has solved the most of the stuttering issues in certain games. I mainly got it on games like Apex Legends and the Finals. So again, disabling C states in my BIOS and changing the USB ports, as well as turning off motion sync, has pretty much solved most of those issues. So the battery life on the Mini has been very comparable to the OG. It lasts me around 20 to 25 hours of constant motion. That's around 3 days of real world use for me. And during that time, I had 4K polling rate on. So if you guys actually lowered the polling rates like 2000 or 1000, you guys will probably get an even longer battery life. But with motion sync on and using 4K polling rate, I got around 20 hours of battery life. The coating on the Mini is exactly the same as the coating on the OG. That's to say that it's very, very nice, very chalky coating and slightly rubber texture as well. I think this coating is really good for moist hands. So if you have moist hands like I do, you'll really like this coating. If your hands are completely dry, then the mouse does get a little bit slippery if you have really, really dry hands. So in that case, you might want to use some grip tape. But if you have moist hands, then you will love this coating because it just sticks to your hand really, really well. Moving on to the most important aspect, which is shape. My hands are 19 centimeters long by 10 centimeters wide, and I found that the Mini is a little bit too small for me. So I did say in my initial overview video that I would tell you guys which one I preferred more, the OG or the Mini, and after a week of using both, I definitely do prefer the OG Atlantis over the Mini. And the reason for that is just because the Mini is too small for my hands. Like you can see here, I like to claw grip my mouse. Most of the time I do an aggressive claw, but after a while I'll actually move into a relaxed claw. And with the Mini, this mouse is just, my fingers almost go over the edge, and after around 2 hours of using the Mini, my hand actually gets very uncomfortable, like it starts to cramp and get very tight. So that's the reason why I prefer the OG. The Mini just feels a little bit too small for my hands. But if you do have smaller sized hands, then the Mini would definitely be perfect for you, especially if you claw grip as well. Fingertip is very doable with the Mini. For me, fingertip actually feels pretty nice, but this probably wouldn't be the mouse that I'd pick up if I wanted to do a only fingertip style. But if you have smaller sized hands and you want a really good claw grip mouse, then the Mini is definitely the way to go. I definitely can make the Mini work, but I do feel like I play better on the regular OG. The Mini, like I said, is just a little bit too small to where it gets uncomfortable after a while of playing. The skates on the Mini are exactly identical to the OG, very, very smooth, very comparable to Tiger Ice skates. I have Tiger Ice skates on my G Pro Superlight, and the skates that come stock on the LAMZU Atlantis OG as well as the Mini are very, very smooth and very comparable to the Tiger Ice skates. They've been super smooth on pretty much every pad that I've tried them on, and just no complaints whatsoever. So these stock skates are really, really good out of the box, and there's really no reason to switch to any third-party skates. So yeah, that's pretty much it. For $90, $99 if you're going for the 4K dongle version, The LAMZU Atlantis OG and the LAMZU Atlantis Mini are really solid mice. Both, in my opinion, are S tier mice. Like I said, it depends really on your hand size and your grip style, which one you're going to pick up. If you have roughly the same size hands as me or larger, then you're definitely going to want to go for the OG Atlantis. So if you have like 19 centimeters by 10 or larger, you're going to definitely want to go for the OG. If you have anything smaller and you like to play maybe fingertip style, or even if you just have smaller hands, then the Mini is definitely a solid choice as well. The performance on both these mice have been pretty much identical. Coding and everything else is identical as well. It's just the main difference is the size. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to personal preference and whether you prefer a smaller grip style or a medium sized grip style. But that's pretty much it, guys. That was my in-depth review of the Mini. Going forward, I am definitely going to be maining the OG as my main mouse. This is going to be replacing my G Pro Superlight as my main mouse currently. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.